LCJ Live. It's Sunday, May 12, 2024. Happy Mother's Day. Welcome to the Mother's Day episode of LCJ Live. That's why I've got some characters here with me. I've got Elastigirl, Marge Simpson, Fiona, because it's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. And it's a big weekend for a major film, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. We all knew it was going to be number one, of course, because Fall Guy didn't make much money last weekend. And it did about what I thought it was going to do. A little bit better. I thought it was going to get to 50 million. It ends up doing more. It ends up doing $56.5 million for Disney and 20th Century, which is a big number. That's right in line with Rise of the Planet of the Apes from 2011 with 54.8 million and War for the Planet of the Apes from 2017 with 56.3 million. So it's just ahead of that. Of course, it did not get to what Dawn of the Planet of the Apes did back in 2014. That was the best of that modern trilogy, the trilogy we had before this film. That was the best installment of that and the biggest moneymaker, $72.6 million for that for the opening weekend. So we didn't hit that, but I think Disney and 20th Century are thrilled with more than $50 million for Planet of the Apes. I think it's a franchise that people wanted to see a new installment in, clearly, even though I don't love the film. I think a lot of people were interested in it. And we just had Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, a similar film for part of it, open to 80 million, and this still did 56.5. That's strong. Godzilla x Kong, by the way, still managed $2.5 million this weekend, and it's up to 191.8 for Warner Brothers. So we'll see if Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes can get to that 191.8 of Godzilla x Kong. If you're watching here live on LCJ Live on YouTube, thank you. Send in your questions and your comments, and I'll read them here. Coming up, I'm going to pay tribute to the late Sam Rubin, who I met. So on a few occasions over the years at the Critics' Choice Awards, he interviewed me live on the air. We'll talk about that in a little bit, as well as the big movies that are opening for this coming week and more. Number 2 this weekend is The Fall Guy, which fell about 50% and change, 13.7 million. It's at 49.7 for Universal. So closing in on $50 million. Will it get to 100? I think that's going to be tough unless it has legs over the next several weeks. And I'm not quite sure when you've got adult counter programming in Back to Black, which opens this weekend, Furiosa, which is coming out. A lot of grandparents are going to be taking the grandkids to see If, and the Garfield movie. Disney's Young Woman in the Sea, I think, is going to skew older. So a lot of options for older audiences over the next several weeks. Summer Camp as well with Diane Keaton and Alfre Woodard and Kathy Bates. So I'm not quite sure The Fall Guy's going to get to 100 million. I don't think it will at this point, which Universal will consider a disappointment. In third is Challengers with another 4.7 million. It's at 38.1 for Amazon MGM. In fourth, the Sony horror film Tarot, which added 3.5 million. It's at $12 million. Number 5, as I mentioned, Godzilla x Kong. Number 6 this weekend is Unsung Hero from Lionsgate, which added 2.3 million. It's at 16.8, coming close to what Ordinary Angels did for Lionsgate earlier this year. Number 7, Kung Fu Panda 4 is still making money. Now, this is it for Kung Fu Panda 4 because now we've got If this weekend and then the Garfield movie next weekend. And so families are absolutely going to go to those. But Kung Fu Panda 4, congratulations on 191.2 million total for Universal and DreamWorks. It added $2 million this weekend. Number 8 is Civil War for A24, added 1.8 million. It is at 65.2, second biggest film ever for A24. Number 9, the re-release of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which did huge numbers last weekend, 4.6 million just on May the 4th. It did 8.1, actually did like 8.7 in the actuals, down to just $1.5 million this weekend. We all knew everybody was going to go see it weekend number 1. Not a lot after the fact, but it still added $1.5 million to come in 9th, 12.1 million for that. And number 10 this weekend is Abigail with 1.1 million. It's at 24.8 for Universal. Just outside the top 10, still some families went to see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, which added $1 million. It's at 111.4. And look, that's not that far away from the 129.4 of what Afterlife did in 2021. I do think Ghostbusters is going to be paired with Garfield, since they're both Sony films, at some drive-ins around the country starting in 2 weeks. So I think Ghostbusters will make a little more money off of that. So we could see another installment in this franchise. Not Another Church movie did not do well. Just $360,000 in more than 1,000 theaters this weekend. Wow. In just 162 theaters, Chris Pine's film Pool Man, which I saw, not great. It only made $131,000. I review that. Mike Sargent reviews Force of Nature, The Dry 2, and we both review Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes on a brand new episode of the Too Fast, Two Films podcast, which will be up soon at toofast2films.com. It's our 200th episode. We talk a little bit about that as well. That'll be up soon at toofast2films.com. As I mentioned, If is coming out this weekend, and the tracking on it says 40 million. We'll see how this does. It's got a star-studded cast led by Ryan Reynolds, John Krasinski's first directorial movie outside of the Quiet Place franchise 1 and 2. He does not direct the Day One prequel movie that's coming out at the end of June, but this is a passion project for him, and we'll see how it does. Could it get to that 40 million? Maybe. Or are some families going to say, we're going to wait for the Garfield movie? That will be interesting. Garfield is making serious money overseas. It's doing really well. And I was at Olive Garden the other day. The promotional campaign's going well. My LCJ Q&A podcast episode, an Animation Scoop Q&A with the director and producer of the Garfield movie coming next week. Preview clip coming in a day or two. And I will also have some Animation Scoop Q&As and LCJ Q&A podcast episodes involving If, and I'll share more info on that in the coming days. Now, new podcast episode and Animation Scoop Q&A also coming this week for Thelma the Unicorn. I spoke with the directors yesterday, and so that'll be available this week. It's a new animated music comedy coming to Netflix this Friday, May 17. Back to Black is the Amy Winehouse film, and we'll have to see how it does. You know, some music biopics have done better than others. The Whitney Houston film did not do well at the end of 2022. Focus Features, I think, has a lot behind this. It's already played overseas for a little bit, so we'll see how Back to Black is. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be checking it out this week. I saw the TV Glow from A24 goes wide this week. It added 195,000 this weekend in 21 theaters. It's at 368 for A24. Interested in this one. This one could be very interesting. The Strangers Chapter 1, Lionsgate's first installment in a 3-part horror movie, opens this week. A lot of horror movies have been out lately. Horror has done well this year, but some movies have done better than others. And do people really want to go to Chapter 1 in a 3-part horror movie? I'm not quite sure. So I'm not sure that's going to do very well. This week in terms of television, it's a big week for TV. The series finale of Young Sheldon on CBS is Thursday night. It's an hour, 8 to 9 p.m. You know me, I love series finales. I watched the series finale of Bob Hart's Abishola the other night. It was a good final scene. That was on CBS. That had the biggest viewership of the season. As always, I say, series finales are television events, and the Big Bang Theory series finale a few years ago had like 17, 18 million viewers. It did really well, and we'll see how Young Sheldon's finale is for CBS this Thursday. It's also a big week for television in terms of the upfronts. The upfronts for the networks are this week. The fall schedules for CBS and NBC have already been announced. We're still waiting on ABC, Fox, the CW, and many others. Amazon's getting in on the upfront space and some others. A few cancellations happened on Friday. It's always tough when you like a TV show and the network gives it the axe. That happened to Not Dead Yet after 2 years on ABC, a show I liked and thought was pretty funny. Also, Housebroken from Fox, the animated show, canceled after 30 episodes. And Scavenger's Reign, the Max animated series. I spoke with the makers of that. I spoke with the makers of Housebroken when that premiered 3 years ago. I talked to the Scavenger's Reign people just last October at New York Comic Con. There is a chance that because the show is moving its first season from Max to Netflix at the end of this month, if the viewership is strong and a very cool sci-fi animated drama series, that maybe Netflix will pick it up for a season 2. We will see. Fingers are crossed. So yeah, the fall schedules will be out. Also, by the way, this week I'll be having a new piece on Inside Out 2, my second of 3 pieces from my trip to Pixar. That'll be at animationscoop.com. And yesterday I got to catch up with Cheryl Chase and meet Renee Jacobs, voice actresses. Cheryl voices Angelica Pickles on Rugrats, and Renee voices April O'Neil on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Great to meet Renee and great to see Cheryl. They came to my neck of the woods of upstate New York. Okay, it is time to talk about the late Sam Rubin. This news was shocking and devastating. Sam Rubin, an entertainment reporting icon in Los Angeles and really around the world, who died Friday, reports are saying, of a sudden heart attack at the age of 64. I had watched Sam Rubin on the Reels channel for years. They had dailies, the daily entertainment news show, starting in 2006, and Sam would come on pretty much every day and do a 90-second, 2-minute entertainment news highlight report from the KTLA studio in Los Angeles. And I always enjoyed his reporting, his commentary, how concise and to the point he was when it came to the headlines of the day in entertainment news. And then in 2011, I had the opportunity to join the Critics' Choice Association, which at that time was called the Broadcast Film Critics Association, through another founding member, because Sam was a founding member of Critics' Choice, so was Mark S. Allen, and I was on Mark at the Movies for several appearances. And at the end of 2011, he said, you know what, I want you to join Critics' Choice, which was quite an honor. And I joined at the end of 2011, couldn't vote for that award season. It was just a little too late. So my first official award season was the following year, the 2012 year, with Les Mis and Lincoln and Argo and Silver Linings Playbook. And so as part of that, I got to go to the Critics' Choice Awards for the first time in January 2013. It aired on the CW, and I got to be a part of the show, did a little bit during the show, pre-recorded it the day before. And so I'm there at near the stage and for the rehearsals the day before, and I see Sam Rubin, who's doing live shots for KTLA and prepping to host the show the next evening. So I go up to Sam, meet him, we have a nice conversation. I tell him how great he's been on Reels channel over the years, how I've watched him all the time. He really appreciated that, was very interested in learning about me. We took a photo, which I posted on social media on Friday. And then the next day, for the Critics' Choice Awards for the Red Carpet Show, I got to be on the Red Carpet Show and got to be interviewed by Sam Rubin live during the Red Carpet Show. I remember the producers were saying, all right, we think Sam's going to interview you. We're going to see if there's a hole in the red carpets, where there isn't an A-lister at the moment, and we're going to bring you in. And so it was really cool to be inducted into Critics' Choice as the youngest member ever to be inducted into the association. We talk about that. Sam asked me what my favorite movie of 2012 was. And I talked about Argo and why I loved Argo. Argo, of course, ended up winning Best Picture that night, along with Best Director for Ben Affleck. And there's a great picture, I've used it as my header on Twitter and Facebook over the years, of Sam interviewing me on the carpet. I've got a little video of that somewhere as well. Really enjoyed that. It was really nice that they had me on. That was broadcast on KTLA, which is one of the most iconic television stations in the country. It's Southern California television. You think KTLA. And he was the face of that station for 33 years, along with reporting for Australian television, television in England, and of course the Reels channel for a number of years. And Critics' Choice put out a nice statement the other day. Reels channel put out a nice statement. So many tributes from celebrities and those who worked with him and knew him very well. The live coverage the other day on KTLA, I had the live stream going for a while, and they had lots of people calling in, colleagues, people he worked with, and celebrities who were good friends with Sam over the years. Henry Winkler called in, Danny Trejo called in, Ryan Seacrest called in, and it was quite something to see how much people cared about this man, who I have to tell you, when I watched him, and over the years seeing him at Critics' Choice, being there the day before, and seeing him do the live shots for KTLA, or being there on the morning of and seeing him do the live shots and the pre-show and getting everything ready for the Red Carpet Show, he had great control and command of what he was doing, working with the producers, working with the other Critics' Choice members, working with the rest of his KTLA staff. He had great confidence and control and command of what he was doing, and people respected him for that. Celebrities got to open up to him in great and funny and in-depth conversations, but also just in seeing how he ran the show. He ran it with such confidence and command and control that really impressed me. And I will miss Sam Rubin. The whole association will miss Sam Rubin. Jeremy Parsons, who was at Reels channel for a number of years, posted a nice tribute, as did Mark S. Allen. this is a very difficult loss for Critics' Choice. It's a very difficult loss for KTLA and for entertainment reporting because he was an icon and he will be missed. Sam Rubin was 64 years old. That is it for today's episode of LCJ Live. When we're back here next time, and I'll figure out whether it's going to be Sunday or Saturday or something else, we'll talk more. I do have a comment here. Heidi G, Heidejg. I appreciate your thoughtful words about Sam. I never met him, but I thought of him as family. The news was just shocking. Yes, he was a good man, and this is a terrible loss for the entertainment news world and for entertainment. The tributes keep coming in, and it was nice seeing the Santa Monica Ferris wheel as well, and some of the stadiums and things honoring him over the last couple of days, and I'm sure more tributes throughout the rest of this week. When we're back here next time for LCJ Live, we'll see how If does, The Strangers, and Back to Black at the box office. And we will preview the next Barbenheimer, which is Gar Furiosa. It's coming for Memorial Day weekend, and we will preview that here on LCJ Live. It's going to be a huge doubleheader, Garfield and Furiosa, along with a film I've already seen called Sight. And I will actually be able to share my opinions on Sight this Wednesday, May 15th. It's the new drama with Greg Kinnear in it, and it's from Angel Studios. It opens on the 24th as well, alongside Furiosa and Garfield. And so I'll be able to share my thoughts on that on Wednesday. Thank you for being here for today's episode of LCJ Live. Go to Twitter X at LCJ Reviews. Be sure to like and subscribe to this video here, youtube.com/lightscamerajackson, Instagram at lightscamjackson, the website, lights-camera-jackson.com, of course, animationscoop.com, lcj.podbean.com, toofast2films.com. Lots going on in the world of entertainment, and I'll be sharing some thoughts on when the ABC and Fox and CW fall schedules are announced this week. Thanks for being here for today's episode of LCJ Live. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Happy Mother's Day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.